Hello, my name is Alicia Shapiro with AInews.com, and welcome to another episode of our Driving Tomorrow Conversations with Industry Leaders, where we explore the latest developments and newest innovations in the world of artificial intelligence. Today, I'm excited to be speaking with Stav Levi Newmark, the co-founder and CEO of Alta, a pioneering AI revenue workforce solutions provider. As one of the few female CEOs in enterprise AI, Stav has led Alta from stealth mode to a successful $7 million seed fund round, positioning the company as a leader in AI-driven sales and revenue automation. Alta's AI workforce, Katie, Luna, and Alex, are designed to streamline sales, RevOps, and marketing tasks, helping companies improve efficiency, accelerate sales cycles, and drive revenue growth. By using a proprietary LLM for sales, Alta is redefining how businesses integrate AI into their go-to-market strategies. In today's interview, we'll explore Alta's recent launch, explore how AI workforce is transforming sales operations, and discuss the challenges and opportunities in adopting the AI-driven solutions. Stav will also share insights on the future of AI in sales and what's next for Alta as they continue to scale. Thank you for joining us today, Stav.
Thank you. What an introduction.
I'm really looking forward to our chat today. This is going to be good.
Yes, I feel so too.
As I mentioned, Alta just emerged from stealth mode with a $7 million seed round. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
What inspired you to develop a specialized AI workforce for revenue teams, and how did the vision take shape?
Actually, it was really clear for us from day one that we are going to do something in the world of connecting businesses' data into AI and helping companies get more with less doing of the mundane work and a repetitive task. And the inspiration came actually from my previous work. I was one of the first employees at Monday.com. I was a developer. I came to develop like my first mission or challenge was connect the business data and try to help the marketing team, which was, I think, one person before the sales even started, and to actually understand the TROI of the investment that we are doing. And really, it's called Big Brain. And what we did is basically give 10x for each one of the revenue employees. Back then, AI wasn't developed as today. We used the statistical models and some principle of machine learning. But when the LLM revolution and when O1 started and the GPT released O1, and it was really clear how agentic AI can transform the way businesses work. So then it was clear we need to connect the two. We need to connect the business data, so the CRM data and the payment data and the product data. And the data is a great context to the agentic workflow. So the inspiration was from my work in Big Brain and with the sales team and scaling the sales team of Monday to such a successful operation of over $1 billion ARR recently. So it was a great inspiration and a great school to start from.
That's a great foundation. And your agents, the Katie, Luna, and Alex, are trained on Alta's proprietary LLM for sales. Can you walk us through how they work together to enhance sales and revenue operations?
Yes. When you think about a great revenue employee, you think about someone that works in a kind of a framework of build, measure, learn, that they test what they're doing and they have some hypothesis. For example, if we take SDR, so they have hypothesis, they say, okay, this ICP can work great with this messaging and etc. And then they test it out and then they improve themselves. But they also have foundation of what's working for the company today, which deals being closed, which industries are worked best, which company sizes, etc. And also outside information. So they came from previous work, like those SDR, and they have knowledge of what playbook works good and what playbook work less good, and tricks and tips of how to do their sales work. So this is how we thought about the LLM, and this is also how the agents work with it. So imagine if we take GPT or Claude,
Mhm.
their work like as, let's say, a junior SDR. But if we're taking the data in the context of what is the best practices and train a model on specifically best practices, so we get a trained SDR and combine with something that's called fine tuning for each customer. This is like the company context. So fine tune this model with the company context. So it's exactly like an SDR coming from the outside, trained on a lot of different background and companies that he worked in, and then starting a new job and get the context of what's going on in this company and work. So this is how our agent works. We have Luna, she's our RevOps. She helps to train our SDR. We have Katie, which is the messages SDR, and we have Alex, which is the calling agent. If we look at the build, measure, learn cycle, Luna, she's on the strategy part in the measure and learn. And Katie and Alex, they're on the implement and the build side. So this is how they work together.
It's so exciting that agents are starting to emerge and be successful because I just think that is such a powerful combination when they can take some actions on behalf of the humans. And it really is so much more efficient in getting the productivity up with everything. And I'm just excited for more agents to come out. This is really cool. And one of Alta's key differentiators is its ability to integrate with more than 50 sales and marketing teams. How does this level of connectivity improve efficiency for sales teams?
So I think it's like I said, the most important aspect of the agent is the context that is built on. And because we have this 50 integration, like around, I think it's more than 50 now, but like around this number, different integration to different CRMs, different sales enablement tool, different data product tool, and etc. So it's giving the context to the agent, and this is how the agent can do a better work because they're informed, they have the full context, they know what is the target audience that they're approaching to, they know how to refine the best message to, because they know what interests them in the website, because they know what the flow of the user journey that in the company website, and they have all the context from the CRM. They won't repeat questions that already been answered, and the conversation will be more informed. So this is how.
That's awesome. Some companies have had a challenge integrating AI and adopting it into their sales processes. What misconceptions do you think businesses have about AI-driven sales solutions, and how is Alta addressing those?
So I think there are a few misconceptions that I can think of just right off my head. One of them is, if we're talking about SDR leaders or sales leader, they're sometimes afraid that this is replace human. And I think that this is really not the case. I know that there is some companies out there that say it's going to stop hiring humans, but I really don't think it's the case. I think vice versa. I think that in place where AI will take the repetitive task, the mundane work, it will leave people to be way more creativity and achieve more. And if they achieve more, so they get higher budgets. And if they get higher budget, they can hire more people. So there is actually some really interesting paradox called Javon's paradox. Did you heard about it? So Javon said that if a resource became much more efficient, it will lead in the end to a larger use of this resource. So you can think about it like with the light bulbs, for
Mhm.
example, or 200 years ago, or
Yeah.
whenever it was when they started to be more efficient. So it was very expensive to have a light bulb. It cost a lot of money. And the amount of money that invested in the power of having this light bulb lit up, so it was very expensive. And then they made it really efficient. So it became much more cheap to have a light bulb. But if you think about all the population that start using light bulbs, so it's much, much more.
Yeah.
And then in the end, it leads to like more money spent on power that's being used. So
Ah.
we can think about similar concept within the revenue engine. If we will help the sales team to be more efficient and to drive more growth, it will lead to a higher budget into the sales team because the company have more money to spend on it. And then ultimately it would lead them to grow. So I think this is like one misconception that we see more and more companies actually starting to embrace it and understand that it is not going to replace them and it's going to help them be bigger and grow their departments. And I think there is a sentence I really like, that AI won't replace people, but people with AI will replace
Yeah.
people. So with that, I agree. But I think the misconception is that it will lead to, I don't know, making the sales department one-man show or something like this. And I really don't think is the case. I think that will leave place for more creativity. And there is another misconception, which is not necessarily in the AI,
Mhm.
but like in a lot of companies, there are misconception of who are their audiences. And they're coming with, we know who our audience is, and this is our ICP. And sometimes we help them with lookalikes to broaden their ICP and find more audience that are similar. And this is also something like that they come, I know what's my ICP, and then we're helping them understand it's a larger ICP. So it's a misconception that comes to my mind.
I love that light bulb analogy because I hadn't thought about it in that way before, but that is a great analogy.
Yeah, I think it started to be more in the news, the Javon's paradox, after DeepSeek came into the news. Because what's happened with DeepSeek is that they trained their own model and it was a great result. There was a lot of people saying different things about if it's true or it's not. But in the end, it's led to NVIDIA stock went down. And I think it was Microsoft CEO that said that it's not true that it will lead to less reuse of chips in NVIDIA, like vice versa, because more and more companies will going to start building their own models, their own LLM models. And in the end, this is the way to the GAI, that more and more company will build like specialized LLM model like we did for sales. More and more companies going to do it for their own use.
That's smart. And you've positioned Alta's AI workforce as a tool to empower humans rather than replace them, like you were just talking about. But why is this human AI collaboration so important, and how do you see that evolving?
Yeah, so I think there is places where AI will do a better job than a person. Like for example, we see Alex, our AI calling agent, when he calls a specific group of customers, he have access to FAQs and a lot of different information about the company. And very quickly, he can answer really complex question. But for example, if you're not training him correctly and if you're not feeding him the right information about the company, he will not do a good job. So this is like just one small example, but I think in the end, AI is good when you help and shape him and refine him. And this is only human can do because it's our own limitation. You don't want to put it out there and not being very mindful of what is it answering, what is it doing. So you want to be on track on it. You want to give it scores, you want to shape it, and you want to also give it hypothesis sometimes. This is like the connection between the human creativity and AI that can be like 1 + 1 = 5. So I think if you work together, don't think that AI will replace you. Think like how you work with it together, and then you can get so much out of it.
Mhm. I agree. I look at my chat GPT as a kind of a coworker, and I treat it like a coworker. I'm saying please and thank you. If the
Yeah,
robot's
so
up
you think
against
of
us,
one day will kill us all. So I would rather say thank you and
yes, when they rise up against us, then hopefully they'll remember I was one of the good ones.
yes. But definitely, even when you write with GPT, so sometimes it's like getting out of control, and you're like, wait, no, this is not what I meant. And you want to refine it and get it to the point and give him some guidance or some guidelines. So, very similar to that is the work with agents. Like, you want to be on track, you want to understand that you have the guidelines, that it's not going off the track, and that you get the most out of it that way.
I agree. Yep. And what has been some of the biggest challenges and successes in launching Alta that you've experienced?
So I think, first of all, when we launched it, we understood how insane the demand is. We thought it's going to be like a high demand, but it really was surprising for us the amount of companies that are in a stage to embrace and to have an agents in their sales flow. And So the demand was insane and it's still growing from day to day. And before we started the interview, I told you a bit about the crazy week ahead. So
Yeah.
it's getting crazier every week since a few months ago till now. I think we saw also something that surprised us is that we use Katie and Alex and Luna for ourselves. So this is also like a nice success story because it's small because it's our own, but it's insane because it's also like we saw it first in
Mhm.
action to us. So we saw how Katie closing leads for us and how Alex makes phone calls for us. So that was really exciting because this is the first time we saw it in action and we saw that the value it gives to us and it can give to other companies. And since then, we see more and more companies getting value from our platform. Our number one priority is that our customers will be satisfied with great results. So it's so satisfying to see it in reality, to see companies that bring leads and meetings like every day, thanks to Alta. And because of Luna, we have dashboards all over our office that shows us every day like what our customers are bringing to the table thanks to Katie and our Alex help qualified leads and help to increase meeting attainment. And so it's really fun to see the value it gives in action.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of the challenges, so it is like I said, I worked at Monday.com in the past.
Mhm.
So in Monday, we had always grew so fast. So I think it's just also like the same challenge I'm facing now of growing really fast. It's challenging. You don't want to have one muscle stronger from the other muscle because then you grow unhealthy. So always keep yourself not to have one muscle growing faster than the other. So always look at the marketing, sales, customer success, product, and understand that we all grow in a healthy way.
Yeah, that's really smart. Making sure everything's balanced as you grow. That's
Yeah.
good. And looking ahead, what's next for Alta? Are there any exciting developments or features in the pipeline that you can share with us?
Yeah, like we had Katie and Alex first of all for ourselves because we were like we eat our own dog food. Right now, the most painful thing we have is what we see from customer is around follow-ups of help us write follow-ups for sales and help us tailor demo for customers. So our next feature will be Greg, like our next agent, and Greg is a sales assistant. We call it EA for AE. And Greg is going to be huge as well, because right now I feel the pain of getting back to writing follow ups and tailor demos and always update the CRM after a meeting. And so
Yeah,
all of this will be part of the new feature that will come up in the future, which is Greg.
that's exciting. Yeah, because a lot of times, even in my little industry of work, I forget sometimes to do the follow-up and it's like 2, 3 weeks later, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh no, I have to do follow up of 2 weeks. And yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that was
Exactly
so
what's
helpful.
happened to me like 2 hours ago when they have flight in a few more hours. And
Yes.
I was like, oh no, now I need to do it because if I'm not doing now, so it will be delayed in one more week and then to
Yeah.
search. Yeah. So it's like definitely.
Break is going to be super important.
Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to other leaders who are looking to integrate AI into their sales and revenue strategies?
Yeah, I think, like I said before, think about it as like an extension to your department, not as a replacement. Think how each person from your revenue team can be a 10x version of itself. And if we just won't have to do all of this repetitive task, all of this repetitive work, and then they can really focus on sales, they can focus on close deals, and they can focus on connections between people, which is really what the sales team should be doing. So yeah, I think also there is no way to escape from it.
Yeah.
Companies that won't embrace it and won't use AI will grow slower, and in the end it will lead only for lower results. So better today than tomorrow to start test it. And you don't have to also go full gas, you don't have to go all in. You can start from an effort in the company that is, like, for example, a product that is not the main product, or some effort in the company that is not the main effort, that is more a growth effort. You can start over there to test it out and then see how it works for the company and take it internally to the core flows. So this is also can help.
I love that advice. That's great. Thank you so much, Stav, for sharing your advice. It's been real pleasure talking about Katie and Luna and Alex and Greg and learning how Alta is empowering businesses with AI, but keeping the human element at its core. So it's a good balance, and I've just appreciated your time and perspective. It's been a great conversation.
Thank you. You had great questions.
And for our audience, if you'd like to learn more about Alta, you can visit their website, altahq.com. Keeping you connected to tomorrow. Today, this is Alicia with AInews.com.